I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 4th Audit of Claims meeting. Mike Farmer left, he was gonna be here tonight, but he had to leave. He left you a budget discussion memo, which you've all been given. Talks about how he wants another $9,878.44.
Well, when he submitted his budget, we didn't cut any supply stuff.
We did cut. We did cut.
So,
We cut some stuff, yes, in advertising.
yeah, but advertising, not
1,000.
supplies, but some of the stuff he's asking for. Facebook.
It's recording up there, we're okay. So I did get it to work up there.
Yeah,
That's all, sorry. I texted you. That's all right.
yeah, all right.
Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Dana.
So it's broke?
No, it's working up there, we're good.
No bills.
So it's broke. Thank you.
I'll just have to cope with,
Right,
maybe put a piece of paper in there so that.
yeah. We don't want anybody to have seizures or anything, but we're good, thank you. I need that.
Might help you guys out.
This is. Worked up there, see what I have to record it there.
So what do you propose? You brought this up. What are you supposed to do with this?
Well,
We could pull back out his budget sheet.
Exchange it.
We're
We,
not gonna
um,
change
we
anything.
can't change much. We were pretty close to the cap. Very so close, like thousands, so I don't know where we pull the money from. You can pull it back out in a month, but
Right here, that's what
it was a decrease of 16.5.
He's in the blue clip. Thanks, Nancy.
My clips aren't even together anymore, Tom.
Oh, we had to keep it going. I can just, say where it was and what we ended up doing and all that. That's okay, just to let you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting there, 1 second.
I got it right here.
Yeah, right here. We decreased contractual, advertising R, promotions, and office expenses by 16.5.
Biggest thing it sounds like is his printing, right? From the letter he just wrote us. He doesn't have enough money for supplies. Isn't that what he
Yeah.
states in his letter? Kind of. Office expenses.
Yeah, that's what he's figuring out right here.
But I mean, and what he wrote here, he says that Alexis is, they're $1,300 over budget right now with 2 months left to go, and that's on the office expense line. The office expense line, he asked for 10.5.
Yes, for 10.5, you put it down.
8. Yep. So, to me, if he's already over budget with 2 months left, and this is coming straight from, the people that are Alexis and them that do a pretty solid job of staying on top of that stuff. That might be something we might want to at least try and help out with that one, I guess.
Problem is, where do we get it from? We
Problem is
went
you're
through
really
this
close to
whole
the
damn
cap, you gotta
budget
take
that
it
we,
take it from another line.
We're trying to-
Take it from-
and everything went up in price, so it really was not a good, easy year for this budget.
And it didn't help having to reprint travel guides either for $1,600.
Yeah, as far as the other stuff goes, oh man,
Yeah.
I just have my own opinions on like the paper advertising and the brochures and things like that. Like and then I know in his thing he states that he doesn't really think advertising through Facebook is productive, but I don't know. I think it's important for us to try and address
The $2,500 in,
the Alexis.
Office supplies?
Yeah, Alexis is. And then maybe he can figure out to move some money around to figure out that other stuff he's concerned about.
Well, I can tell you this. What's it cost for somebody to go to New York? I'm not going. Give them that money.
Yeah. And I'm not going. I can't go either. Same thing every year.
That help?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
that hits it right there, thank you. All right,
You got both of us on there, or was I already not on there?
you already said you weren't going.
Yeah. No, can't go.
But we put enough money
Okay.
in the budget for all that, so.
I'd like to go. It's a good learning
I think
experience.
Kyle's
Oh,
better.
it certainly is. I just can't go. Yeah.
You know,
Certainly is. All right. Cool.
All right.
Great suggestion, Mike.
Oh, 6 o'clock, right?
How about the email I sent about
Eric Brown email about selling property.
So originally, the one you guys did was Indian Road, then I sent an email about Cayuga Road, the other side of this property, I sent an email.
Well, at first I thought we said we weren't interested, and then Casey came back and
Well,
said
Casey
that
went
it
and looked
wasn't a
and-
problem.
He'd rather do the Indian Road one, the Cayuga one not do. And Casey did go look, but Eric Brown, he's under a time crunch with his ruin maybe? So I didn't know if anybody looked at the email, because nobody answered me.
I looked at it, but I can't.
There's the,
Remind me here.
there's the second, there's the
Casey's
second
not on
email.
board with the.
The
He
first
said he-
one, the first.
No.
That's the second one. And
Okay.
you see Casey's changed his mind, he said if you have to pick one, he'd rather do the first one, which is underneath, versus this one. But the map is attached, you can see which is which,
That's all I want to look at now.
Yeah.
the map.
This guy. So
So that's the one that he originally didn't wanna do, Casey, but he definitely does not wanna do this one, so he said the best bet was to do that one.
Right.
is if you have to do one.
If you have to do it, you don't have to do anything, no, you don't have to do anything.
So she's got
Right.
other here. Our place is yellow. Property we have a contract to purchase on. That's their own property.
Yeah.
Property where you're asking the town to sell us is the pink.
And then Cayuga
But then
Road is not
Cayuga's-
marked, because that was gonna be his second request.
This was,
So it's basically
what was this though? Because our first thought was no, we're not doing it because this person now can't get there.
And that is,
But
that
what is
map
this?
doesn't show it's part of it, that's part of a road. That map doesn't show that's another paper road that's on the bottom.
It's right there.
The Wenk or whatever.
No, the paper road right here, that's a paper, that's Iroquois, that's the paper road.
Right,
So these people can
that.
get into those properties,
can get
Iroquois goes that way. It goes
That's
around
why
the
he
corner.
came back. and-
So then he'll be buttoned right up to Gagan. That's the other
Yeah,
property,
that's the other
right?
property. So it's
So
really,
if
no,
that's the case, if these people can still get to their property, I guess I will agree with that.
you don't have to do anything, I'm just telling you what it
Yeah,
says.
I-
and then is the Gagan
You see all that?
property owners like aware of that?
Yeah, this is what
they
they
wanna buy for this guy. And we thought at first, these people couldn't get here if we did that. But I guess
That's
they can.
Iroquois, turns to Iroquois Road right there.
So it's still the same. The only thing that happened was he was like, all right, then I'm on to buy this one. Casey was like, well,
No,
no, we can't have that one.
right.
If we had to sell
So
one,
he's just looking at buying
he's
it.
at the same one he wanted before that we kind of were like, but it makes it a little different if these folks can access their property, which Nancy's pointing out that this is a paper road. I don't think we were aware of before, so they can get there. But now these guys are right. Their property line will be right. We're in.
And his letter,
Just fine.
his letter for the second request is the first page that everybody was sent.
Right, I think we said no to that, wasn't it?
No, that was the second.
That was
one.
this is the second.
That's the second one.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with what Casey feels is okay, if that's what we wanna. Is there it was surveyed and there's a value there and all that already done, or?
I don't have anything, I'm assuming
Okay, well,
nothing's
we
been
need-
done. I'm assuming nothing's been done.
So we just need to say, okay, we're interested, but you gotta pay for everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there'll need to be a survey done.
Survey, maybe an offer price, or are we coming up with that?
Costs, and then,
Fair market value? Do we have to do fair market value?
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we do that on the road, but yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Hey. Yeah.
Hi, Matt.
This can go. So is that good enough, Nancy?
Yeah.
We don't have to decide on that now, like you said.
No,
Right,
because
no,
then
I-
when he comes back with his stuff, that's when you guys have decided. This is kind of
Okay.
saying that you're willing to.
Willing to talk. Okay, gotcha.
So keep signing here.
You're doing the original request, right? The
Yes, the
original
original.
request.
Yeah, I think that's, yes.
Instead of moment of,
It's a pretty good move, though. Get him to reconsider by buying. All right, I'll take this one then.
Yeah,
Because remember, we were like, all right, no, that's not going to work. We're not.
all right.
So, hope maybe it can work out.
Well, sometimes we gotta be careful with, you think it's a good move and then all of a sudden it's like, ah, Jesus, we needed that, And
Yeah.
then it's gone.
there's the 5:30 on it.
Believe it or not, that happened up in Eagle Bay when we used to be able to go like the road that goes by Big Mish Yamaha. Straight behind the store, straight all the way to Uncas Road, without having to cross the road. Once we'd sold that off. Done
And,
deal.
yeah.
You gotta get going. Yeah, there's some weird stuff with Eagle Bay House right there. For us.
Right,
Pull that.
yeah, I know.
I'm like the septic and the grease traps right there. My cap got cracked from the change of ownership
Yeah,
because they like fixed all that and redid it all, did some risers and overtime.
It's like a lot of those properties up there that were part of hotels or big families, and they just split them off that and then sold them.
you guys wanna talk about, I just finished this one packet here. Still got a ways to go. That, the short-term rental thing that was in there. We've been, just
So I
got,
guess I had a question about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do we do about, grandfathered? Because like Eagle Bay Park is definitely gonna exceed 10%. At least we're pretty sure.
so,
So how would that be grandfathered? How would we do that?
Eagle Bay Park is one of the residential village zones.
Yep.
So like that area. There's another one over here in the channel behind where Hollister's used to be, like where you go on to Hollywood. There's one in Thendara.
Yeah.
There's one, those are all the RV zones. So as far as Eagle Bay Park goes, and then there's Big Moose Road, there's a couple other ones. They're all in the same RV zone. So they're all in the same, pool of this percentage. So like the current permit holders right now that, are all in the mix and they're all gravy and life is good.
But it's not gonna affect anybody that's already
No.
in it.
So it's not going to affect anybody that's already in it.
Okay.
And when you at a transfer of property, when you make a sale, that new person goes to the end of this waiting list if it even exists. Now, don't forget, we're not even at 10% yet. So right now we've got 3,088. This is from codes today. There's 3,088 year-round residential and seasonal dwellings. And there are 302, I want to say, legal permits. There's some out there that haven't registered yet. So that comes out to 9.78 of our entire housing stock is short-term rentals, if you're keeping up with that. So of the entire housing in the town of Webb, not RV, 9.78 of it right now is short-term rentals, which is not terrible.
Right.
Now, if we go into the RV zones, the total number of properties that are zoned RV are 685. Right now, the same thing. 47 of those properties legally registered with us. There's 47. That comes out to 6.86%. So basically, the hope is this will make people get their stuff in, do it the way they're supposed to. That will probably get us closer to that 10%. And then, it still leaves room for people to operate as they are. If we ever were to get to that 10%, hey, Mike Ross, I'm sorry, we're at 10%. You can't turn your home into a short-term rental in the residential village zones. So it's it's just like our short-term rental law was. This cap is very, very fair to short-term rentals in this town, which I think is okay because we are a tourist town.
The only thing I read into this, and I think I understand most of it. What I was kind of thinking though is, depending on the number of people that I'm guessing there's some out there that aren't registered. So
Oh, yeah,
once we say
100%.
that we're interested in doing this,
We
in
know that
public
for sure.
hearing, all of a sudden people are going to start.
Probably.
Is that going to go over that 10% already? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If it does, then
then
because they'll be grandfathered
they'll be
in.
grandfathered in. But this is just another thing. Hey, long term versus short term. We're finding it out right now since we put the law in place. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh man, I gotta do this. Man, and people are kind of saying, why don't we just do long term? I just read a thing with a local family that just got a refund, which is really cool because they just switched from short term to long term. That's fantastic.
I've heard of some other people that are interested in doing that.
It's the people that are going to come they're fine. They have permits. And then the housing, who knows, because of where the market is, it's really hard to buy a house up here because there's so much money. But you know, at least maybe you would take away that broker that's like, oh, I already cash, here you go. House is gone. So you don't even have a chance to try and maybe see if you can find some funds to pay for that house because that broker already took it. That broker, I'm talking about like a, you know, they do this for business and they have actual companies.
Right.
They won't buy it because they probably can't short-term rent it. And again, this is only in the RV zones.
What did you say the RV zone percentage is right now?
6.86. And RV properties, residential village properties, make up 22% of our housing stock. So that means we're only regulating the short-term rentals in 22% of our, you know what I mean? We're not doing, okay, you know, have at it everywhere. Because you got to remember too, most of these places, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to run out, oh, we're doing this town-wide. All right, you got to rent your $1 million home on Fourth Lake to me for $1,500 a month. Like, it's not gonna.
No.
Yeah, so there's a little, you know, discrepancy there, but also remember, short term. A lot of these people rent by season, like 6 months. You're fine if you rent that way. This is still kind of like the snowbirds and stuff, and people that go south can rent their places for maybe the school year. A lot of people I'm finding out are renting from some seniors or retired folks that go south. They're renting to people that can't find a place to live so they can go to school. And then, okay, back to the drawing board if that falls through. But it's.
Well, when I first was reading it, I gotta say, I was like, I don't know if that's gonna, but I did try to do the best I could with understanding it. I don't see where it's gonna hurt because the people that are involved in it now are out, they're grandfathered in, they're not gonna be affected.
Yeah, and they're gonna know it doesn't transfer with the sale, so it's not gonna like bring the value of your property up too. Like, oh, hey, my house costs more money because I can still, no, that's not how it
Because
goes.
it jumps back. You still could, the
still
person that
could.
bought it still could do it.
Get in line.
But depend on if it's up to that percentage. So it might not even affect anybody.
There really right now there's not as many short-term rentals in Eagle Bay Park as you think. I've run it by a couple people that I've talked to up there. It's like, oh, well,
Seemed like a lot when I was going through. That's all. I just kept seeing all these for rent signs.
they might, yeah. I think a lot of it's like family trading in and outs up there is what kind of happens up there. Like families take turn using their own. They've kind of bought their places
Right.
together and they take turns renting it out. So it's not on Airbnb and VRBO and all that stuff, you know. But you know, it's also worthy of mentioning while we're on it. You know, that comprehensive plan. Who gave us these, by the way? I haven't. Somebody just got these.
I
Great.
did.
Was it you, Nancy? Thank you. I keep yelling, you gotta read the master plan. And I never, 3 years too late. Right here in the, you know, it's right in here for housing. Goal number 1, provide a range of year-round housing opportunities for all ages and income levels. So there's just a bunch of stuff here. And then you go to, you go to this page, and number 8 is control the short-term rentals through zoning, especially in hamlets. Short-term rentals like Airbnb can contribute to loss of long-term rentals for workers and higher housing rates, blah, blah, blah. And again, this is from 2019. You know, there's the committees on here that went out and seeked everybody's opinion, and it's in the master plan, like how much more.
Yeah.
So. But that's
I ask a question while you're on this subject or no? Okay, that's fine.
so the other part of this is it's control short-term rentals through zoning, which is why I kind of said to Brian and Andy was in the same boat. I encourage, you know, for Thursday for Jay to come since Andy's not here. possibly. From codes. If,
Should invite Steve Baker as well.
sure, yeah,
Brian has all of Andy's notes, so.
he does, cause
Yes.
I found all my stuff, that's what all these papers are.
Yep.
So I found all my stuff, cause that was when I first got on board, it was Barb and I that was doing that with Nan and Andy, and I didn't know what the heck, I still know what's going on, but I didn't know more of what's going on then. And,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
but
Yeah,
I've got it all pretty straightened out though, you know, we've got,
yeah, you've got a lot of information.
this is the complete zoning update of the pages that were actually changed. This blue writing here. So it's not all the actual zoning is this thing, and this is just the pages that were updated or that were going to be updated. And then we fast forward to this was what you guys got in your email.
That is what Brian's gonna do.
This is what Brian compiled with his firm that said these
With
are the
Andy.
questions and comments, and then Andy had answers to this.
Yep,
And that's what I'm
Already answered.
hoping we
and
use.
that's what Brian's gonna do. He's gonna have the
Awesome,
answer.
very cool. But I do again,
Really?
That's the plan.
instead of doing a law amendment in the short-term rental law, since it's very, very specific to zone, and we've been kind of advised that, like, I think that thing should just be in the zoning update. Along with that signage thing, I think that's going in
I
there,
will have to see what the attorney says.
right, on Thursday,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think we're on the right page. Your question, sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so when you calculate the 10%, you're lumping it. It's not like 10% of Eagle Bay's district, 10% of Old Ford Hamlet district. You're lumping it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're getting
Sounds-
10%.
There was discussions to like,
That's,
Sorry.
there was discussions to take away, to talk about like waterfront when we were talking about with Andy, but you can't do that. An RV zone's an RV zone.
right.
And you're in the RV zones, and that's
We're
what
just taking
that's
a
what we're picking. Yeah.
Cause I'm willing to bet there is at least 10% unregistered. I've caught 3 alone the last week. I called into the guy. And number one way I caught him, just looking at the pictures on Facebook. If you can see a bedroom window, you know it isn't kosher.
I will tell you this is Eddie. I will tell you this discussion for this cap thing has been going on for over a year, and the reason that we didn't want it to be a big thing is for that jump to.
And I can tell you, the planning board would appreciate it if it was in the zoning code rather than the short-term rental law.
Yeah.
Much easier to,
Yep. We'll see what Brian says with that, like Bonnie said.
because we've had people come and lie to us. They'll say, oh, we're gonna
Is
make
the
this a
short-term rental law
long-term
in the
rental,
zoning
and they
code?
change, oh, we changed our mind. Just to get
Well,
it
what
done.
this,
No, the short-term rental law is a short-term rental law. It's separate.
Separate.
but I
It's a
think,
separate law.
the way I read into it, I think what'll happen is once the threat is out there that we're gonna do this, the people that wanna be short-term rentals are gonna hurry up and register.
Right.
Because otherwise they're gonna not. Once it gets to that 10%, they're out.
Kind of.
So I would think they would jump on and say, all right, I need to get moving here and do it legally.
Right.
But
And if they're not registered now, they are an illegal one, right? And if we hit 10%, that means if they're, don't get it done soon enough, they wouldn't be allowed to continue,
correct, I think that's the force behind
which
this.
is the way it should be.
That's all I had too. I know we got the budgeting and all that stuff. That's all I had to
Oh, yeah,
discuss.
so-
Sorry.
It's time.
All good. Do I have a motion to close the meeting and reconvene after the budget hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'd like to call the public hearing to order. The purpose of this hearing is to present the 2025 preliminary budget to the public with an overview. After the presentation, the board will welcome comments from the assembly. As you know, this is a public hearing and the board will not be commenting or answering questions at that time. Will the clerk please read the notice of the public hearing?
Notice of public hearing, the town board of the town of Wag has prepared the preliminary budget for 2025. We'll hold the public hearing on November 4th, 2024, at 6 p.m. at the town of Wag Municipal Office Building, 3140 State Route 2804. A copy of the preliminary budget is on file at the office of the town clerk, town of Wag, where it will be available for inspection by any interested person during regular hours. Dated October 16th by order of the town board, Nancy T. Russell.
Thank you. So the budget hearing highlights that we have for this evening, our general taxes in 2024 was $3,423,302. That was we increased it to $3,686,923. That's a total increase of $263,621. The highway taxes went from $522,275 to $593,153. The increase was $70,878. Between general and highway taxes together, there was an increase of $334,499. The increase is 18 cents per thousand, or $2.35 per thousand. The reason for that increase was we have a piece of machinery in highway to pay for, and we have a reval for our, yes, thank you. The water district was $117,093, and it was decreased to $115,495. This was a decrease of $1,598. The decrease caused a 1% decrease per thousand, or 52 cents per thousand. The sewer district was $180,708, and it was increased to $198,698. A total increase of $17,990, increasing at 13 cents per thousand, or $145 per thousand. The reason for this increase was we have wells that need upgrading. Excuse me. The sewer plant went from $422,167 down to $269,014. It was a decrease of $153,153. The decrease of $184 per user, or $286 per user. The reason for the big decrease here is our project is finished at the wastewater treatment plant, or almost finished. The buildings increased $50,000 from last year, and that's to continue building upgrades, maintenance, and inflation. Our police department, our SRO, is still at the Town of Webb Schools. 9 months salary plus benefits will be reimbursed by our school. Equipment is up to date per Sergeant Riolo, so the line was decreased to $20,000. The BTI program was increased $3,000 for training and any product increases. On highway, everything stayed the same with the exception of the equipment line, which was increased $82,000 to replace the 2017 Western snowplow. There's a reserve, and the $82,000 is the balance on that. The assessor's office, there's a significant increase in the miscellaneous line as we prepare for our 2025 revaluation of property. The reval cost is approximately $400,000. That will be increasing our 2025, 2026, and 2027 line by $138,000 per year. Our tax collector and zoning department, no significant decreases or increases in either one of those departments. Publicity had a decrease of 16.5. We just did add 2,500 to that. Ambulance had an increase of $50,000. It was $550,000. It is up to $600,000. That's 3 cents per thousand, or 33 cents per thousand. An increase of 3 cents per thousand, or 33 cents per thousand. Macaulay Mountain, we increased our equipment line $10,000 for snowmaking upgrades. That line is at $100,000. Playgrounds and recreation, there are no significant increases or decreases. Justices, no significant increases or decreases. Attorney and engineer lines have stayed the same, no increase or decrease. Recreation, the same, no significant increase or decrease. Program for the Aging, better known as the SHARP program, had an $8,000 increase in their budget line for food. Snowmobile, we had an increase in contracts $5,000 and our groomer payment of $164,000. Other than that, everything stayed the same there. Refuse and garbage, equipment has an increase of $34,000 to make up for the final payment on the 2026 recycling truck. The other money is in a reserve. There's been a decrease in hauling of $42,000. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed on that one. Public Works,
Got faith.
equipment got increased to $40,000 for the purchase of a 2026 pickup truck. There's a decrease of $10,000 in the fuel and gas line as it was overestimated in 2024. Landfill, the only increase was moving one employee into this line from another line. So it really wasn't an increase, it took it from one line to another. Professional offices, there's no significant increase or decrease, as well as North Street Parks. Medical insurance and liability insurance continues to increase drastically. Medical's at a 4.5 increase for this year. Town clerk, no significant increases or decreases. Records management, the same, no decreases or increases. Nonprofits, Living 80K, were given $15,000. CTS van was given $3,000. Kinderwood, $9,000. View, $8,000. Kayak, $3,000. Historical, $12,000. And Haska, $30,000. Thank you to all our nonprofits. Your work is amazing, and we couldn't get by without you guys. So thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you to Nancy Russell, Don Schweinsberg, our town board, and Beth Sadlin, who helped with the budget process. Your input's been invaluable. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, all comments shall be directed to the town board and be relevant to the topic. This will become part of public record. Does anyone have any comments? Yes, sir.
Was there a provision to update the master plan in there? Because I was told there wasn't in this last year's budget. It to be done, we're at that point. And I thought you guys said you were gonna put it into this year's budget. I just don't know what the.
I think we did, right?
The reval, kind of.
No, you did a master plan for 10.
Yeah, you guys,
I know that we talked about at a planning board that we're gonna need money to move ahead and.
did.
10,000.
$10,000?
Sure.
There, okay, that's all.
Thanks, Nancy.
Well, you got remembered.
Yeah, it's hard to remember where you put money in.
Yeah.
Good thing she's got that book right there.
Okay.
Anyone else?
That's it.
Okay.
Alright.
Having heard all comments from those wishing to speak on the topic, would someone like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Tom, second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, we're reopening the November 4th audited claims meeting. The board held a public hearing earlier for the 2025 preliminary budget. A general overview of the subject occurred, public comments were received, and the board has discussed aspects of this budget. Do I have a motion that the Town of Webb Board adopt the 2025 preliminary budget as presented tonight at the 2025 operating budget.
I'll make a motion that we adopt it.
Mike, second.
I'll second it.
Ben,
Yeah.
Discussion?
I would like to mention that this year was, interesting, to say the least, on the budget. It was very difficult. And I appreciate everybody's input, and it was hard.
Thank you, I agree with that statement, thank you. Anyone else?
I agree with it. It was a good learning experience too.
I just think I mean, look, last year we went down 3 cents per thousand, right? The year before that it went down 3 cents per thousand, and we've just stayed so long. So like, with everything else going up the past few years, so it just seemed like it was bound to happen one of these years. So I feel good about how we got there for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks for all that you guys did for that too.
Roll call vote, please.
Ben's the start.
That's okay. Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye.
4 ayes.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I think Matt wanted to mention something.
I didn't know when the appropriate time would be.
This is it.
Okay. So, I'm Matt Turpinning, for a couple people that might not know me, town employee, work part-time, live here in town of Rosendale. I own my house, so I'm a taxpayer. And like I just heard you guys say, things have been going up and up and up. Health insurance, I've noticed, has gone up drastically. I know the town has the platinum plan, which is the most expensive of the tiers. And I started working part-time, 5 years ago, and just by working with full-timers, I've heard how much percentage each year Excelis is, getting for the health insurance policies. So I think what was affordable, 5 years ago and prior, the platinum plan may have been affordable, 4 or 5 years ago and prior, but I think now the numbers for that plan is just drastic. It's a top-tier plan, really designed for people that are, chronically ill or have doctor visits, hospital bills more frequently. I would, suggest that the town look at a few different plans, something that's a little cheaper, especially for, the employees that don't have chronic illnesses, don't go to the doctors very often. There are plans out that are much cheaper. In the long run, it would save employees money, and it would save the town a lot of money. I did a whole bunch of research. I have some packets here. It's another plan within Excelis, Blue Cross Blue Shield, who we currently have. I think it'd be pretty easy to just switch to that plan, or at least offer this plan to the guys.
What plan is it?
The one I'm highlighting is the Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield Simply Blue Plus Bronze 4. It's the bottom, it's a high deductible plan, which makes it very cheap for the town to pay for. But the only real way to make that plan work for the employee is for the town to sponsor what's called the health reimbursement account. Some people may be familiar with it. I know a lot of other towns operate like that.
That's where the town pays for the deductible to a certain point. And
Correct.
We offered, just to let you know, we did offer that. And
Yes.
a couple of employees took it, but a couple of employees went back to because it's a little bit more
I
challenging.
did do some talking around town, and I know even during previous administration, there was discussion about offering a lower tier, and people opted not to do it, because I don't think they fully understood that it only works with the town-sponsored health reimbursement account.
Right.
And in that way, it makes it almost a no-brainer if you look at all the numbers. The town could, has potential to save hundreds of thousands of dollars. There will be some employees, in certain circumstances that may exhaust the whole health spending account funds. But then once that happens, 100% insurance kicks in. If they get a $10,000 bill, insurance pays $10,000, not $9,200, and hits them with the rest, like the platinum plan currently does. So I'd like to just hand out these little packets here that I prepared, just for you to look it over, give it some thought. Obviously, you would have to call Ian in, see if everything I'm saying is
meeting
We have an
actually
appointment
valid.
with we have an appointment with Ian on the 13th at 1:30. If you wanna come to that meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're more than welcome to. We do have CSEA and PBA contracts also.
Can't change anything.
Change, we
Yeah,
can't change any
that's one other
contracts.
thing with the union
This is the
deal.
actual plan from Excelis.
We can't just say, we're switching. We just,
Can't do that with unions.
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's why I think, obviously it'd be probably appropriate to have a townwide meeting, get all the employees in and department heads and see if it's even something they want to approach. But I'm pretty sure once you say, hey, you're gonna make more money and spend less when you get medical care, who's gonna say no to that?
Right. I thought really honestly, when like I said, we've been approached with this
We've
many
been offered that
times.
with the gold plan.
And I thought that would work out great for the younger generation that don't go to the doctor.
Right.
They could get more in their paycheck. Real simple. But that didn't seem to go over real well. We had people try it and they just didn't want to stick with it.
And like I mentioned, that may have been years ago when the cost of
got
the
a lot
platinum
different.
plan.
That was last year.
Last year.
That was last year that they did
Last year.
that.
Which
Yeah.
we still offer it. It's still,
Yeah, it's still offered.
it's still part of our plan.
It did sound like a great thing because like you say, the town has a bank. And when you go to the doctor, we pay the deductible and then it took a little bit more, if I understood from the employees that did it, it was a little more difficult
More paperwork.
to work through.
The only, I've been on a plan like this before, that's why I'm familiar with it. The only, I guess, downfall about it, if you really consider it a downfall, is the employee will get billed from the hospital, doctor, whatever. So they actually get a physical bill in the mail. They say, this is your portion. And they could look scary if you get, if you get injured pretty bad, you get a
Sure.
$5,000-$10,000 bill. But you just call up, give them the number on the card, and it's done, over.
I think it's important to note too that Matt, I went through this already just earlier today because I think you reached out to everybody,
I
right?
reached out to a
And
few people, yeah.
I responded to it. I think it's important to note that Matt is a town of Web employee, but he's not on a health insurance right now. Just for the record.
I'm not doing this
He's
to benefit
just
myself.
No,
just like-
understood.
yeah.
I know that
I
right
know
from-
there's things going back and forth with the police department. I'm not doing this to say, hey, help the guys out at the police department.
Yeah.
I think town-wide. If,
You're here as a taxpayer.
And we can mix too. That was one of my big questions I had for you when you presented it to me. Like, we could, as long as we offer both options, right? And we can kind of present them,
did.
hey,
We do.
yeah, but I mean, if you kind of explain it well enough and you make sure that they know they're protected by doing the bronze, when you think about the hundreds of thousands of dollars you can save with it. So I think it might be worth talking about again. And I think Bonnie hit it with that meeting with Ian. Maybe because that is town-wide. It's not just us with Ian, but the employees come to that too.
okay.
Right, that's an employee meeting, right?
Yeah, it's open to,
Schedule, yeah.
it's for all
The
employees to come.
13th at 1:30
1:30.
for all employees.
For all employees.
Do you roughly know how many employees have a family plan to Excel?
Without-
No, I don't.
Because if you flip through that, you'll see my numbers, and they might be not exact.
Packet.
But I think for the family plan,
We all have that information. Ian was just showed us the paperwork and it's,
Excelis charges
my desk at home.
roughly 41,000 for the family plan under platinum. That's how much Town of Web hands over. Under the bronze, it's like 22,000. Yes, there's that $16,000 deductible. You can choose to offer that health spending account for the full 16,000. You can do 15, you can do 14.
right.
But if somebody spends $100 of that, then the following year, Town of Web only has to replenish that
Right,
$100,
right.
not
Yep.
15,000.
Play
Year
on.
after year,
Roll the dice a little bit. Yeah.
you're gonna save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We must have had, now that you bring that up, did we put money into a bank for that? And there must, we didn't
We did.
use it.
About 5 employees did it and about 4 employees came back and said no. Just,
We still have a bank.
Probably because they got billed.
We have a bank.
yeah, and I don't
They
know enough
saw-
about
they
it, but
saw
there was
the
a problem.
bills, but the health spending card covers it.
Yeah.
I
Ian will be
believe-
here to explain it better and
I know, he does a good job.
the 2 options that we
explaining it.
have for 2024 5, and Ian Conser, those are the two you have to offer.
Right.
But this is
Has
good.
And he's
to be
mentioned it a couple
equal to
times
or
too.
is-
Ian has said, you know, and there's, if you can get him a change over to bronze, you'd be saving us more money. If you get him a change, and I think,
You got 2 unions that,
yeah, well, of course, they're stuck in it.
At the last few pages there, just for fun, I put how much the CEOs and the top 20 employees at Excelis are making. And I explained why they keep coming
Just for
to
fun,
these
huh?
towns asking for more money.
Right. Well, this year actually was one of the lower increases. We've had some big ones.
4.5.
We've had years, there was, quite a while back, there was a 15% increase. It was
Prior to
big.
that, Platinum may have been,
We're over $1 million now in health insurance for the town.
Thank you for that information. We'll, talk to Ian about that on the 13th.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Matt.
Appreciate it.
I'll probably try to make it here. But I think if more employees really understand how the whole program works, along with that health spending card,
Right.
that it's even better. And then if you sign up for other things like, Aflac, you actually make money for going to the doctors.
I got an employee doing that right now.
It's a whole other
Yeah.
option.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you
again,
so
Matt.
much.
Yeah, thanks, really.
Thanks, Matt.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
And second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
All right.
Thanks for
I better
coming.
go hit the County